Welcome everyone, I'm Jacob Monica and this is Morse Verse. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the lyrics from the album Moon Healer by Cowboy. So real quick, if you don't know what we do here, I just go over some lyrics from albums that I love. I give a quick lyrical prose of them, kind of like a lyrical essay, and I try to involve the context in which the lyrics were written. And really, I would just love to cultivate a community where we share our thoughts on lyrics, because I don't think there's enough emphasis on the importance of great lyrics in metal. I feel like it's kind of overlooked, and I personally don't like it because I think it leads to, let's just say, some lazy writing on behalf of a lot of metal vocalists. I just feel like if I hear Into the Abyss one more time, I'm going to start a shotgun. So with that, let's get into today's video. So if you don't know, Cowboy formed back in 2003 in Glendale, Arizona. The vocalist Johnny Davey has been for a long time touted as one of the best extreme metal vocalists of our time, not only for his unique style, but also for his lyrical cadence and diction. I love the way he over-enunciates his words and makes his phrasing sound as gross as possible, and I really appreciate that. So a little bit about Moon Healer. I feel like to talk about Moon Healer, we have to start with Sun Eater. So Sun Eater was released about 9 years before Moon Healer, and Sun Eater was written from a third-person perspective, where Moon Healer was written as a sister album to Sun Eater, but from the first-person perspective. Moon Healer is the band's fifth studio album and is greatly influenced by a friend of Johnny's who explored psychedelic drugs and Gnosticism. The album explores the working of the pineal gland in the brain and the effects of DMT. Johnny said in an interview with Tristan Pratt, "You could look at Moon Healer as a bad trip experience. It dove into the stories of the Bible with Moses and the burning bush and how these stories could have links to DMT." So with that, we're going to get into the first set of lyrics that I wanted to talk about. This comes from Beyond the Chemical World. Repetition, I think I know. I got precision. With organic, I set a mouth. I can get the temperature. All my words are right. So like I said in the opening, this album, the lyrics are written from a first-person perspective. So I'm going to be talking a lot about the protagonist in the story and their perspective. So in these sets of lyrics, the protagonist appears trapped in a cycle of repetition and deterioration, symbolized by phrases like "I rot in repetition" and "eternal decomposition." However, there's also the sense of a shift or transcendence with the organic antenna and the esoteric crown of my vertebrae, which may suggest the protagonist's mind or consciousness reaching beyond the physical constraints of the body. This gives the impression of a dark, introspective journey where the protagonist's physical and mental boundaries begin to break down, leading to a form of enlightenment or awakening that transcends normal human experience. It's a powerful depiction of a shift from mundane existence to something more profound, albeit at a high personal cost. So, from going over the lyrics, this being the first track, I see it as the protagonist first taking the DMT and beginning to succumb to the effects of it. And as we move on, the story kind of progresses from there to the forever rot at the end of the album. So the next set of lyrics we're going to get into come from the track Grinding Wheels of Off. So what I wrote for these lyrics are the line grinding gears of the Ophanim references a type of angelic being in biblical tradition known for their role as celestial attendants, often associated with the divine chariot. This reinforces the idea that the protagonist's transformation is not just physical but spiritual, as they become a vessel for something much larger, possibly divine power or enlightenment. She willingly carries God upon his throne, suggests submission or an offering of oneself to a higher power, while past, present, and future merge signifies the collapse of linear time, implying the protagonist has entered a state where all temporal boundaries dissolve. The now of eternity has been sown ties this all together by suggesting that the protagonist's transformation has led to a moment of profound, timeless realization, perhaps a union with the divine or a cosmic awakening that transcends the constraints of time and individual identity. The next set of lyrics we're going to get into come from the track A Sorrow-Filled Moon. So even though there wasn't a lot of lyrics there, I wrote down a lot because I think this is one of the cooler set of lines from the whole album. I just got really into these, and I kind of dove deep. And what I had to say is this: the phrase "uttering abandon in a cold language" strengthens this idea, indicating that the communication is ancient, forbidden, or lost to most, but still accessible to the protagonist. There's a sense of a dark, arcane knowledge being passed through these strange languages, perhaps symbolic of a deeper, hidden truth that only the protagonist is capable of grasping. I inhaled its thoughts as godlike pathogens, brings a disturbing and almost invasive element to the experience. The protagonist is not just receiving this knowledge, but absorbing it, with the term godlike pathogens implying that these thoughts or revelations are powerful and potentially dangerous, like a virus or infection that alters the very essence of the protagonist. Overall, these lyrics depict the protagonist undergoing an intense and potentially perilous spiritual or mental experience. They are receiving esoteric knowledge that is foreign, potentially divine, but also invasive and corrupting. This moment marks further deepening of their journey into the realms that blur the line between enlightenment and madness. The protagonist is not just passively experiencing these revelations, but is being fundamentally altered by them, potentially losing oneself in the process. The last set of lyrics we're going to go over come from the last track of the album. The final track represents a profound culmination of the protagonist's journey, one that brings them face to face with their own transformation and the dissolution of their former self. I can overhear my shadow's dimming cry suggest the protagonist is now aware of their own fading mortal identity. The shadow's words, only that of which can destroy itself is truly alive, are deeply philosophical and reveal a key realization. The protagonist may have reached a point where they understand that true life or transcendence lies in the ability to break free from the constraints of the self. Destruction here isn't necessarily a negative force, but one that allows for the creation of something greater, a shedding of the ego or physical form that permits the emergence of something eternal. I no longer sense a ghost inside my carbon based vessel, signifies the protagonist's departure from their human physical self. The ghost is the last remnants of their old identity, and the lack of its presence indicates that they have transcended their former limitations. The use of carbon-based vessel emphasizes the disconnect from their physical body and the impermanence of it. The protagonist mourns the loss of their old self, yet this grief is tempered by a deep existential comfort. My soul is eternal, and my consciousness endless. This being the end of the protagonist's journey, it seems to me that their body has succumbed to the overdose at this point. He goes on to say, "No longer was I to be revived. My body had been purged, bathed by the sound of flies," which indicates that they have somewhat come out of their trip and they realize that they're dying, already covered in flies. So, what did Moon Healer make you feel? What does it all mean? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm always excited to go deeper with you guys. Let me know if making a Discord would be pretty cool. Again, I just want to talk about metal lyrics with people and get their take on some of the lyrics. The comments below is a great place for that, but I could also make a Discord if that's something that gets a lot of interest. I might just do it anyway, but let me know if you guys even use Discord. Thanks for watching. This has been Morse Versum. Until next time.